Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhry, and our big debate for the day comes all the way of what Rahul Gandhi said at the Cambridge University. Well, what it has done is raise the hackles of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the central government back home. Let's take you to what really went down. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi launched a scathing attack at the centre during a lecture at Cambridge University, alleging that an attack has been unleashed on the basis of basic structure of Indian democracy, which also claimed that the Israeli spyware, which he's spoken about, Pegasus, was being used to snoop into his phone. Now, the Congress MP who delivered a speech at Cambridge University on March 1st again launched an attack on the Modi government on several issues, claiming that the Indian democracy is under attack. I already told you about his allegations that he has the Pegasus software on his phone, and he's been asked many a times to be careful when he speaks on the phone. Now, taking a jibe at the Prime Minister, he said that Modi is imposing his ideas of India, and that Prime Minister thinks Muslims and Christians in India are second-class citizens. Rahul also asserted that minorities, the press and the opposition in the country are under attack. He also raised the issue of Kashmir, also said that a war of words. In fact, he went on to also say that calling Kashmir a state, and said that when he was on the Bharat Jodo Yatra, he came face to face with some terrorists, but they did not hurt him because that's the power of peace. Understandably, all that Rahul Gandhi said at the Cambridge University in America echoed back home politically with a huge blowout.
The institutional framework which is required for a democracy, parliament, a free press, the judiciary, just the idea of mobilization, just the idea of moving around, these are all getting constrained. So we are facing an attack on the basic structure of Indian democracy, right? Here you can see that picture. That picture is taken in front of Parliament House, and that's where a whole bunch of opposition members of Parliament were just standing there talking about certain issues, and we were just locked up and put in jail. And that's happened 3 or 4 times, right? And it's happened relatively violently. That's just an example. He is imposing an idea on India that India cannot absorb, right? India, as I said, is a union of states. It's a negotiation. And if you try to force one idea on a union, it'll react. I've got a Sikh gentleman sitting here, right? He's from the Sikh religion. You come from India? He comes from India, right? We've got Muslims in India. We've got Christians in India. We've got different languages in India, right? They're all India. Mr. Narendra Modi says he's not. Mr. Narendra Modi says he's a second-class citizen in India.
So understandably, what Rahul Gandhi said at the Cambridge University has come to be a political storm back home, with the government and the Bharatiya Janata Party going out and saying that Rahul Gandhi on foreign soil once again has defamed, insulted India. The Congress comes out and says it's plain speak. What's wrong with what Rahul Gandhi said? Let's take this debate to our panelists this evening. Anila Singh, spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. In a short while, we'll also be joined by our national affairs editor, Rahul Srivastav. Anila Singh, I'd come to you with one question, and that is, how is it, ma'am, that attacking the government, criticizing the Prime Minister, criticizing the government and the BJP is an attack on India? India is not the government and the government is not India.
My Ram Ram to everyone. And once again, Rahul Gandhi has insulted our country. And why so? Just now you said that if he is criticizing Prime Minister of our country, of Bharat, or he is criticizing the government of India, it doesn't mean that he is criticizing our nation. See, he was giving lecture in Cambridge a foreign land, and he was talking about our country, our nation, our government, our Prime Minister. Prime Minister is not of Bharatiya Janata Party only. He is the Prime Minister of whole of the nation. और ये उस जमीन पे खड़े होकर देश के प्रधानमंत्री के बारे में बोल रहे थे जिसके प्रधानमंत्री खुद the Prime Minister of United Kingdom is a Hindu himself. And when did he become Prime Minister? When Narendra Modi ji is a Prime Minister in India. So what he has to say about that? So he is making proud Hindu of not only of our nation but pan world. But the thing, the way he had been talking about our nation, the way he talked about the economic policies of our country, I was astonished. One dynarch, a person who believes in dynacracy, he is saying, and yes, above all, his own father was a Sikh slaughterer. His own family is Hindu slaughterer, especially if I talk about the Kashmir area, and n number of
Ma'am, you know, okay, I'll tell you what, because let's steer clear of making such defamatory statements. You know, when you talk about Hindu slaughterers, Sikh slaughterers, all of that really hasn't happened. It wasn't that Rajiv Gandhi was convicted by a court of law. In '84, in fact, even his ministers, whether right or wrong, were exonerated. There is no evidence to suggest that the Gandhi family are Hindu slaughterers. So let's steer away from that and let's hold the discussion on those grounds. Make your point.
Definitely it is your point of view, but...
Ma'am, it's not my point of view, it's the court's point of view, it's the legal point of view in this country.
I don't want to get into argument because I know that whole of the nation knows about it. So I do not want to waste my time just discussing about it. But yes, if we talk about, I mean, he mentioned that he went to Kashmir. वहाँ मुझको तिरंगे दिखाई दिए, वहाँ पर मुझको बताया गया आपके ऊपर हैंड ग्रेनेड्स फेंक दिए जाएंगे, पर मैं फिर भी गया, तिरंगे वहाँ पे मुझे दिखाई दिए, वहाँ पर जो है आतंकवादी भी आए, terrorists were there. You know, I looked in their eyes and they looked in my eyes, and what they exchanged? He said कि वो फिर वहाँ से चले गए. They went away from there. What he was talking about? And he was saying, when I was doing Bharat Jodo Yatra, many of the people came, 2 girls came, they confided something in him and they said, please do not share with anybody, and he is sharing that thing on international platform. So what type of psyche this person has? He's a psychopath and he is talking about USA. He's appreciating, allow me 30 seconds please.
Yes. I'll come to you, Tehseen. I'll come to you, you'll get equal time, let her make her point.
So he's appreciating about USA's democracy. One country which very well, like we very well know who was known about bad South, and lately we knew Black Lives Matters. Everybody knows about it. And the
Ma'am, what does everybody know about Black Lives Matters? 1 second, you know, okay, let's just
उनके foreign secretary हमारे देश में आके कहते हैं कि केवल और केवल प्रधानमंत्री Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji can solve the problem in between Russia and Ukraine. USA diplomat is saying this thing. And
1 second.
Standing in UK.
There's a bit of confusion. I'll come right back to you. Number one, he didn't say it in the US. He said it in England at the Cambridge University. But having said that aside, on the other hand, we didn't quite understand what you meant about the Black Lives Matter and what happened with that. We're not being able to get.
Why can't you understand a simple thing?
Ma'am, what is the simple thing?
A campaign went on, Black Lives Matters, and this person, Rahul Gandhi, standing in UK, and he says, वहाँ का democracy तो बहुत अच्छा है, बिल्कुल सब बराबरी के हैं, anybody can, dream of American.
But the fact is, that's the beauty of our country. Like I said, ma'am, that's the beauty of our country. Okay, ma'am, you've made your point. May I just get Tehseen and I'll cut across to Rahul Srivastav as well. But the fact is, that's the beauty of our country. Somewhere down the line, you are allowed to criticize. Whether it's right or wrong is something that can't be debated. But an attack on the government is not attack on the ethos of the country or India. Or the attack on the Prime Minister is not attack on what the fabric of India is all about. So maybe somewhere down the line, we need to separate the two. But Tehseen, not the first time that Rahul Gandhi has been abroad. He's done it in America as well. He's done this time, in Cambridge, where he has raised issues which could be uncomfortable for a country in general. Okay, let's say Prime Minister Modi is the Prime Minister of the country. He doesn't come just from the BJP. Criticizing the Prime Minister on Indian soil, taking him on politically in India is different than possibly insulting him, is what the BJP calls abroad.
Good evening, Preeti. Thank you for having me on the show. I presume that I will also be given an uninterrupted time like the BJP spokesperson. So there are 3 or 4 points I want to make. Point number 1, that I'm very proud that Sri Rahul Gandhi ji was invited to his alma mater, Cambridge, from where he's passed out. We know genuinely he's passed out from that university. That university sticks by it. Because we know some leaders want to hide their degrees, and even the university is not ready to say that their people have studied from that university and they've gone to court to hide their degrees. So I don't want to get into that matter. I think the most important and pertinent point that is being made is that criticizing the most honorable Prime Minister, criticizing the government is not criticizing the ethos of this country. This country gives you that right. For example, the most honorable Prime Minister's Prime Minister abroad said, and I quote him, that people were not proud to be Indians until he became Prime Minister. That's Modi ji. Now, I know I was very proud to be Indian all my life, even prior to Shri Modi ji becoming Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi also said abroad, and I quote him, कि मैं 60 साल का कचरा कूड़ा साफ कर रहा था. He was cleaning garbage for 60 years. He said India is a land of garbage. That's the Prime Minister saying it as Prime Minister abroad. But you know what's the greatest thing about this country, and this country whose constitution I hold sacrosanct? This gives me the freedom to criticize my Prime Minister. When the BJP says you cannot criticize the Prime Minister, the same breath on your show, a very serious show, they go on to use words like psychopath for former Prime Ministers who have been assassinated, for laid down their lives for this country. They go on to use the most abusive language. I'm not saying that, I'm not getting into morality, but the same constitution that gives Rahul Gandhi the right to criticize his Prime Minister in a decent way gives Anila Singh ji the right to call an ex-Prime Minister who sacrificed his life for our country psychopath. And therefore this constitution is supreme. And
No, no,
this
no, 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 I
constitution
didn't
that
say
Rahul
anything for
Gandhi
that.
is trying to
Okay,
protect.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you
You
so much.
didn't call. He called Rahul Gandhi a psychopath. She called Rajiv Gandhi a six slaughterer. But on this show, like I said, let's stay away from using such highly derogatory and defamatory language. I'll come back to you, Ms. Anila Singh. I've clarified the point that you were trying to make.
Yes, I'll clarify it for her. I'll clarify it. She called Rahul Gandhi ji a psychopath, and she called an ex-prime minister a slaughterer. Two ex-prime ministers, ex-prime minister's family a slaughterer. And the same constitution that gives Rahul Gandhi the right to criticize the present prime minister in a decent way gives Anila Singh ji the right to call Rahul Gandhi a psychopath and his family a slaughterer. I will defend Anila Singh ji right to say it, even though I vehemently disagree with what she said, and I'm offended by what she said, but I still will defend her right to say, because this constitution is given to us by Baba Sahib Ambedkar and the Congress. The RSS had no role in this constitution. No role, and it's showing on your television show.
All right. Okay. I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava and Anila Singh. I will come back to you for a rebuttal. I know you want to come in. But, you know, Rahul Srivastava, we've seen, this is classic playbook of what goes down. We've seen it happen over and over again. Earlier on, when Rahul Gandhi was on a visit to America, he'd made certain statements. And back home, politically, it was projected as an attack on India. But on the other hand as well, he has raised certain issues which, even by the court of law in India, be it the Pegasus issue, has been cleared.
Preeti, I think this whole idea about a leader's statement hurting the image of a country on foreign soil, I think is slightly exaggerated. I think what is more important is that on crucial issues, when it comes to the global high tables, there is a greater sense of unity within India, be it say China, Pakistan, or Ukraine, Russia, and others. I think what is happening, if you see Rahul Gandhi, there are several instances in the past where the BJP will say that he has attacked India or hurt India by attacking the government. And there is a whole list. If somebody goes to the India Today website, they will read that there are 7 such instances in the past, be it in London, UK, Germany, Malaysia, Singapore, US, and other places. But if you look at it on the same hand, there is also several instances right since 2014 where Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he was speaking on foreign soil, he attacked the opposition. Say, for example, I was there, I heard it in Madison Avenue in New York, when Prime Minister said that there are a lot of you who might not have voted, but when the results were coming in, you were celebrating. Then in Toronto in April 2015, Shanghai in 2015, May 2015 in Seoul, UAE August 2015, Muscat, Oman 2018. The Prime Minister also did it. What is really happening is, this is politics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi have this luxury of having a foreign soil to attack each other and set up a battle between each other. Now, what actually they are doing is acupressure. One can draw from there. Rahul Gandhi, when he goes abroad, he knows that there are certain platforms which, for well-intended reasons or otherwise, do offer him an opportunity to say what he wants to say. These are
Right.
pressure points being operated by those people plus Rahul Gandhi for a domestic audience. PM goes abroad, he uses the NRI, non-resident Indians and others to attack the opposition to send it out another pressure point, political signals. I think we should not be bothered about the idea of India getting impacted, because right now India is on a roll given the global situation.
Well, fair point. I want to bring in for a quick comment then, Anila and Tehseen back into this conversation. Anila saying, look at it this way as well, one would suggest that when George Soros went out and attacked the government, attacked the Prime Minister, the Congress actually told him to butt out and said that, listen, we can handle our affairs, we don't need a foreign businessman to come in and speak for us. So they did, come together on that. On the other hand, Rahul Gandhi is a political leader. He is an Indian. And for him making a statement in India or abroad, why does it become an attack on India then?
See, when you're talking about the democracy of our country, when you are talking about the financial condition of our country, and when you are talking about the leader, which is the most popular leader in whole of the world, we know it very well. So perhaps Rahul Gandhi ji is very rattled, and I will say it is attack on our country. Like if Mr. Srivastava might be having some different point of view, he has got all the rights according to the constitution of our country, because every time we discuss, whether we talk about Mr. Poonawala or Mr. Srivastava, like, they say, ye adhikar hame samvidhan ne diya, bilkul bisat samvidhan ne diya. Perhaps Rahul Gandhi ji is in depression the way Congress has performed in Northeast states. Once again, Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi ji has proved that he's a fantastic leader and he knows how to win elections and how to get your country on right track. Okay, Preeti, I just want to say one more thing here. Like, if we talk about any country, what is the critical factor for the assessing a country or a political party? Let's talk about the country. It's the economic philosophy and its economic vision. So, can you deny this fact? The way our country is going ahead, we have become the fifth strongest economy in the world, and by 2030,
right. I just want to bring in Tehseen for a quick comment before we wrap up the show. Tehseen, on issues such as Pegasus. Now, in August last year, Supreme Court appointed committee did look into the allegations. Nothing came out of that. To rake up Pegasus, to call Kashmir a state, then to say that there is insurgency. It's far from insurgency what had happened in Kashmir.
Right. So just on the Pegasus issue, let me clarify, Preeti, because I know a lot of people who were directly involved were people who are very close friends of mine whose phones were hacked. The most honorable Supreme Court said in written, Preeti, that the present union government did not cooperate with the Supreme Court appointed committee. The Supreme Court said it did not cooperate, hence they couldn't come to a conclusion. Let's be very clear. The government did not cooperate with the most honorable Supreme Court. That's how scary this is. And Preeti, not just my friends, colleagues of yours have been alleged that their phones were hacked or were looked into. Now, let's come to the more substantive issue. I understand he's the leader for Anila Singh ji. I understand he's their leader for a lot of people. And I respect that. But I don't think he's the leader for me. He's my prime minister. I respect him. But till my last drop of blood, I will oppose him because that's my democratic right. And I will oppose him on every forum. And I don't think just because he happens to be the leader for Anila Singh ji, she can tell me I cannot speak about his economic policies, which quite frankly, I think have been regressive. While India has grown in the large GDP, the per capita income has not grown. Now, there are a lot of things
All right, so that's a separate debate. But
so the fact is, one second, just one last line. The fact is that both the most honorable Prime Minister and Rahul ji are political animals, and they will make political statements. And you must encourage political statements, not discourage it by saying somebody is supreme leader, so you cannot talk about it. You must encourage him.
With that, I'm going to end the debate. Does what Rahul Gandhi said on foreign soil make this entire narrative of it being anti-India? We leave it for our viewers to decide. The Prime Minister has gone and criticized the opposition. You might think the opposition is bunkum and you don't respect it. But having said that, each of them have a right to their opinion, whether they make it in India or abroad. But ultimately, we leave it for our viewers to decide on what they made of it.